This is an exciting day for me. In 1979, I was a young sportscaster. There is another Dan Patrick I know, makes a lot more money than I do as lieutenant governor. I was down here. I told our Representative Gervin that I came here covering the Washington Bullets at the time, playing the San Antonio Spurs and George Gervin. And my first visit to Texas was for that playoff series, and the first thing I did was head to the Alamo, and I still have that photograph with my camera crew, and little did I think I'd ever move to Texas or be lieutenant governor or be a part of this great place in our history, not just for Texas, but for the United States and for the world. I mean, that's how Phil Collins came up with his collection. I asked him once when he came to the Capitol, Phil, and by the way, he and I are about the same age, but playing on the road all those years he did is tough. I can just tell you, tough on him. I said, Phil, where did you become such an Alamo fan? He said, I started watching Fess Parker on Davy Crockett. I said, so did I. He said, then I went to see the Alamo with John Wayne 100 times. I said, so did I. And I have quite a collection. I have a 12-pound cannonball from the Alamo, 2 Travis letters, and a number of other artifacts. And he said, and I have a bigger collection. And now I know who I was losing out to on all those bids at the auction. It was to Phil Collins, who had a whole lot more money. I want you to picture this right now. Go back 185 years. And depending on the story that you read, it was 185 men, 187, 200. We don't know the exact number, but you often hear 185. And I thought about that number today. 185 years ago, 185 men on this hallowed ground. They gave their life over the next 13 days so that we could all stand here today with freedom and liberty. Picture, if you will, the hotel, and I can't see under the tent, but the hotel's not there, and this building's not there. There's nothing but hills, just hills, rolling hills, and a river. And oh yes, thousands of soldiers under the command of Santa Anna. And there were soldiers dressed like these men here inside these walls. Right here, the first cannon shot was likely fired. Just about 50 to 70 yards from here. Later, Jim Bowie would, according to history, lie dying in an infirmary before he was killed. And behind you up there, where the federal building is, that's where Travis was when he lost his life. And Crockett and the Tennesseans were over there, diagonally, next to the Alamo, coming out to the front wall. People came from all over the country to fight for Texas. They didn't know much about Texas. Davy Crockett had never been here. But he heard about our fight for liberty and freedom, and he wanted to be a part of that. This story stands for every person who has fought for liberty in this country and freedom, and in every country around the world, and still fighting for freedom today. It all started here. It's really started here. This is the story of Texas. And I believe, you know, we've added 10 million people to Texas, 10 million in the last 20 years. And I like to say that no one ever moves to Texas. They arrive here and Texas moves into them. They buy their cowboy boots. By the way, I happen to have the Alamo on my cowboy boots. I just want to let you know. When I designed my coin, you know, everyone has a coin when they get elected, you know, that they hand out. My coin is not a round coin. It's the Alamo. I love this place. And I thank the mayor who has worked so hard with the state. And I thank George P. Bush as land commissioner, who has worked so hard with the legislature. We've already invested about $150 million so far. I asked what the cost of the project might be today to finish it in the next 4 years or so. And they said it might be $200 to $300 million. I believe the Republicans and Democrats in the state legislature will be stepping up to the plate to help fund a large portion of this great site for you, Mayor and Land Commissioner, and for Texas. This is going to be, and I will, as I led the fight to get the first $150 million, because the Lieutenant Governor does get to sign off on the budget, we'll lead the fight to get the other funding. I've seen the new plan. I love the plan. San Antonio is going to love the plan. Texas will love the plan. America will love the plan. We will see millions come, Mayor, in the years ahead. Not just for the Alamo experience, but for the experience of San Antonio and the history that goes with this. You know, when you go to Boston, you can go to various historic places, but people come to see the whole city of Boston. And I want to make an investment in San Antonio so it's an entire experience of Texas history here, because there's so much history in this great city. So today, I'm only speaking for me. Only for me. I'm just one guy in the legislature. But I feel with the plan that they have laid out, and they're still working on it, it's such a great plan. I believe the city and the land commissioner, I think we're all in sync. We may not agree 100%, but I think we're all on the same page. I think today is the true liftoff day, 185 years ago, from the time that 185 men lost their lives. Today is the liftoff to get this project truly started and finished so all Texans can come and see the history of this great place in the near future. So thank you. I love this place. I love Texas. I'm blessed to be your lieutenant governor, and God bless all of you. Thank you all.